What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content that we have coming out. Now, with this video, we are getting into Teen Titans Academy issue number 9. And if you have not been keeping up with this line, go ahead, check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It's going to get you completely caught up on everything going on with Teen Titans Academy. Now, so far, over the course of 9 issues, they have been severely teasing who the heck is Red X. And for a little bit, we kinda steered away from that. But with this issue, we are one step closer to finding out exactly who that is, as we are introduced to the Fearsome 5. And so with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue, we're picking up with probably some of the biggest news to hit Teen Titan Academy. And that is because we have the arrival of Roy Harper, once believed to be dead. But that all changed with the Infinite Frontier, with him becoming an Omega Lantern, under the control and more or less the possession of Darkseid. Being freed, he comes back home. He comes back home to the Titan's Tower to find out that it is now an academy and there is a giant statue of him out front. But the one person more than anybody that is excited to see him is of course his friend Wally West. And while everyone is having their reunion in the middle of the night, this is where we see Matthew Price appearing to be under some kind of mind control. His eyes glowing pink, we see him get out of bed. Him, Trace, Bolt, and Nevermore. These 4 individuals, they leave the Titan Tower, randomly in the middle of the night, letting no one know. And so picking up the next morning, we have Wally West really just going out of his way to do everything nice for his friend, trying to help out Roy Harper. You know, he's just back, he got him a whole buffet of food for breakfast, really just going a million miles a minute. And Roy Harper, he is ready to tell everyone exactly what happened and what brought him here. The one thing he does know though is that his daughter is alive. His daughter is out there somewhere and he needs their help in finding her. And this is when Stitch and some of the other students, they recognize that a couple of the students are missing. Not sure where Matt Price is, not sure where Nevermore is. They're taking a tally and they're starting to investigate what is going on here. And this is where we pick up with the 4 students. And right now, they are in a fierce battle with one another. But we see this fight, it ends very abruptly. A voice that is telling them enough and they seem to snap out of this trance. None of them knowing where they are, none of them knowing how they got here. The last thing they remember is going to bed. And when they awoke, they found themselves here. And we see Bolt, she runs as fast as she can, trying to get out of here, only to run into some kind of force field, some kind of barrier that is keeping them here. Now, Matt Price, he looks around, he recognizes there's no real energy source or anything like that. So whatever their blockage is, it has to be some kind of mental block, that somebody has to be messing with their heads. Now, of course, the first thought is Gorilla Grodd, maybe even Gorilla Greg, after the whole ordeal that they just dealt with. And this is where we see Simon, and he has gathered them all here in an effort to create what he calls the Fearsome 5. Now, of course, Nevermore looking around the room, recognizing that there's only 4 of them. That is until from the shadows, we see Red X. Now at first they believe that Red X is behind all of this, but Simon lets us know that he was summoned here just like the rest of the students. And he lets them all know that they represent the best the Teen Titans Academy has to offer. But he is here to offer them something more, letting him know that the Titans have been holding them back this entire time. And it just so happens that he is starting his own little academy. And though you would think they say this is a bad idea, Nevermore tells him to carry on and let them know more. Now, picking back up at the Teen Titan Academy, we have Stitch and the other students all getting ready and going into the homecoming. And the theme is enchantment under the sea. The only trick about it is they literally have a C floating in the ceiling, taking this opportunity to have a celebration not only for homecoming, but the fact that Roy Harper is here. Roy Harper has returned to everybody, and so if there was ever a time for a celebration, this is it. Now the only question is, how did they get the C to float up in the air like that? And the trick to it is that they have Aqualad here. They have Tempest, aka Garth, the superhero that originally went as Aqualad, but later started going by the name of Tempest. And so this is one freaking reunion if I've ever seen one. The only issue is, this is going to be broken up very quickly because now the students are legitimately concerned of where these missing students went. And so going to the teachers, going to the Titans begin to investigate where they last were, who last saw them. As Raven tries to connect with them, she learns that their psionic trail, they all seem to just stop. And Raven is even able to know which students are gone. But that also means that she knows who Red X is. Because whoever Red X is, he was a student at the school. Raven saying that there is a fifth individual that she cannot connect to, one of the other students. And so whoever Red X is, the Titans are now very much aware of who that person is. Picking back up with Simon, he lets them all know that it's time to leave the nest. That you all gave the Titans an opportunity, but at the end of the day, they have only failed you every step of the way. And Red X really didn't help with this entire situation. The speech that he gave in last issue, saying that you guys are joining an endless army, an endless war that is just going to continue on with you. You guys being trained literally to be their replacements to continue this war on. And that's exactly what Simon is telling them. And Nevermore's trust has been shaken after everything that happened down in hell. With Raven, the Titans, and Dr. Fate all conspired to lie to Billy Batson about what happened to the Rock of Eternity. Now, of course, he doesn't have all of the details on that situation, but from an outside perspective, it looks like someone is being manipulated, and it quite possibly could be him as well. Not only that, Matt Price, he divulges that he was already planning to leave the academy. At this point, half the students are ready to leave the academy. With the attack from Amanda Waller, with everything going on with Red X, a lot of these kids, they didn't sign up to be soldiers. They didn't sign up to join a war. And that's really what it seems like is happening. But the biggest reason that Simon had picked these 5 individuals is because each and every single one of them, to include Red X, they don't have any family. They don't have any connection. They are the disowned. They are the loners. These are the people that no one would truly miss, at least according to Simon. And his idea is to create their own family, one to be admired and one to be feared. And of course, Red X, he's the first one to step up and say the Titans promised the same exact thing. But this situation, the deal that you are making, this is absolutely no different than the Titans. And the 5 of them, they begin to have a discussion amongst themselves. And it really looks like Matt Price might be willing to join him. Red X letting him know that he grew up on the streets. He dealt with foster families, always having their own agenda. Because they usually lie, they usually put them in some kind of dangerous situation. Feeling like Simon is no different than anybody else. No different than the Titans themselves. And Simon chiming in lets them know that he is not Amanda Waller, he is not Gorilla Grodd. They all have the free will to choose their path. To join him, go back to the Titans, or do whatever you want to do. But the option is being put on the table for you to take another path. And that is when Nevermore lets him know that he will join. But lets them all know that they need to go, and they need to go now. That he can feel Raven and the other Titans making their way. Now Red X at this point, he lets them all know, what are you doing? You guys are quitting one army just so you can join another one. This Simon wants to use you just like the Titans have used all of them. And he can't believe that all of them are really considering doing this. He tries to convince them not to. He tries to sway them in the other direction, but then he turns his attention to Simon, letting him know that he has to be doing this. He has to be manipulating them and that he needs to get out of their heads. And of course, he denies all of this, saying that he is giving them the free will to choose their path. With Red X not believing him, he starts to truly lose his freaking bonkers. He is getting so worked up. He is about to freaking snap, Nevermore trying to calm him down. But we see the Red X, he breaks. And with him breaking, he pulls out one of his X's and he cuts off the head of Simon, with the Titans portaling their way in just so they can witness this massacre, with Red X not being able to take it. With him snapping and breaking like that, he felt like he had no other choice, turning and looking to Nightwing, saying that he wouldn't stop, that he was never going to stop, and so he had to stop him. And in a quick effort, we see Nevermore, he opens up a portal, grabs hold of Red X, and they hightail it out of there before the Titans can catch up to them, letting them know not to follow. That will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Personally, I really did enjoy this issue because it divulged so much information on the identity of who the Red X is. We now know that he is in fact a student. We now know that he has no family, no friends, or at least that's the running consensus off of what Simon had said. Not only that, he has been working side by side with all of these students. With the Titans now knowing his identity, it is only going to be a matter of time before it is divulged to the readers. And I really cannot wait to find out who it is. And I really want to find out who it is at this point, just because I want to see some more character development when it comes to the Red X. Now the question is, when we saw Future State, we saw Red X had been arrested. He had been put in jail by the Teen Titans. And with him being in custody, it never really divulged what his crime was. But if this was his crime, we can only assume that the Titans are gonna catch up with him and they are going to take him down. The only question that will remain, does that mean Future State is still going to happen? Does that mean we are going to see the darkness, the four horsemen of the apocalypse? Because while many of our future states have been avoided, like in Gotham City, that doesn't mean every single one of them will be. And honestly, the Teen Titans Future State was the most altering one of all of them. And this darkness has been talked about for quite some time. Now the darkness that Darkseid is going after, it could very well be a different darkness than the one Raven is supposed to turn into. But regardless, there is something on the horizon for DC Comics. Something big is coming, and whatever that power is, it seems like it is going to be wielded by Darkseid. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you have not yet, do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out, and until the next breakdown.